that intro song. I fuck with it. Hi guys.
Hello,
Happy
hello.
Friday. Since I've been on here with you, Yanko.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you just
Sometimes
silent.
life works in a
He's like,
mysterious ways.
you know what? As soon as I
uh,
jumped on, I wanted to go "Rah!" because I have, for the listening audience, a 2.5-year-old nephew I live with, and his recent thing is walking up to inanimate objects and going "Rah!" and I have to do that with him because, of course, he engages me in play, and I'm always down with acting like a fool. So it's a great old time.
that's right. That's right. Well, it's fun to be around kids. They sure knows how to surprise you, though. Um,
Yeah.
in out of the box thinking kind of way, not like, oh, I kind of expected that, but no.
You know, it's so interesting. Nana and I have been watching the show Limitless with Chris Helmsworth, and it's on the Disney Plus. Anyway, yesterday we were watching as neuroscientists and I want to say like a psychologist was talking about flow state and how extreme athletes achieve flow state in, doing dangerous stunts or whatever. And it got me thinking because what they referenced was how young children's prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed. So there's not that fear of trying things, and it's more how do you overcome this. And they were talking about how adults don't have that ability because their prefrontal cortex is fully developed. And I looked at Nana and I'm like, you and me don't have that issue. And I do believe it's a choice, right? I have the opportunity with my nephew to make a choice to rah and act like a fool. And the more experiences I give myself permission to have, the more I have that ability to do crazy extreme things because I haven't fallen into that trap of believing that I'm unsafe if I try something new.
Yeah. To me, it's more of a spontaneous kind of. You have the desire in the mind, and you don't judge yourself by going like, "Oh no, what?" Because you have the desire, you want to act on it, but then whatever the program comes in and kicks in, and you're like, "Oh no." But then if you just do it, you're in the flow because you
Yeah,
have that coming up.
that's the thing. That for me, again, it's so interesting because I've kind of cultivated through my own
Mm.
awareness and my own practices and observations that authenticity is allowing the present moment to unfold without hindering it because of that story or that fear. And I was on a live call with Deepak Chopra yesterday because I look at him a lot for information. And he said something similar. It was a little bit different, but essentially it was the same premise of, you know, the gap is that state in between thought where you just exist and things just unfold.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like this conversation, we never know what we're going to talk about.
Exactly. Nothing
Which is
is
why it's cool
nothing
to
is for
know that
sure.
the show.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, we never
And we
know.
don't know where the show will
We
go.
already got a comment. Oh, what's going on, MD?
Oh,
Mahidi?
hello, hello.
It's a pleasure having you on. Thank you for saying what's up. Uh, I would be curious to hear what you have to say around flow state and spontaneous play and joy.
Me too.
Yeah.
A lot.
So what else is going
No,
on
ah,
in your world?
it's just life, I used to be able to have all kinds of stories and share stories and tell people, oh, this is what's happening in my life and this is that what happening, or I wasn't expecting it. But now I'm kind of used to unexpected things and it's not a surprise. And I think people kind of getting used to that. So it's
You know
just
what?
like,
I had, because I had this epiphany, right? So I was listening to Nana talk to me yesterday, and we were talking about cosplay because he is, and I am going to non-shamelessly plug him. Anybody watching, Nana will be in Rhode Island doing his cosplay shenanigans this weekend. So if you want to connect with a people, go there and support Nana. I will not be there because I will be in a weekend's worth of meditation and solitude. But what I was saying was I had this epiphany because Nana was telling me about how, he oh my God, now markets. And I was listening to his words and I'm like, oh my God, I see so much of me in him, in like this idea that it has to look a certain way sometimes. And it was just really eye-opening for me to be able to look beyond, I don't know, the trivial conversation. Not that it was trivial because I'm listening to somebody I love, but the superficiality of it, to see the oneness of in that, even though we do very different things, right? He does cosplay, and I do whatever suits my fancy at any time. So it's just interesting.
I mean, it gets better, and as you progress, you have more moments like that. You have more moments of oneness, even so it doesn't look like it's out of nowhere, but it's just special. And I cherish that kind of moments because, like, I can go through things and be really in the present and really enjoy it. Right around holiday, Halloween, we went to bring our son to school and drop him, and the spirit was just crazy there. They had the mascots, they had bubble machines outside, throwing bubbles and foam and music, and it was an entire party. And for a moment, I was in this moment with everyone when everyone had, you know, excitement and joy, and there was nothing wrong. Like everything was just perfect. It was so awesome. you know?
Well, I mean, it's so interesting because you said, you have you're in a place where you don't feel the need to describe or explain. And I had this conversation with somebody I love deeply the other day. They reached out to me to get advice about something. And then the very first thing they said to me is my intuition said. And I turned around and I said, well, my advice is listen to your intuition. I didn't even let them tell me what it was they needed advice on. And then I then subsequently shared with this individual, I asked for advice. It's rare that I call and ask for advice. And the reason why is not that I don't value or appreciate the connections I have with people. In fact, I value it tremendously. It's deep and it's oneness and it's pure love. But I'm always going to lean into, so on Instagram, it is you, beautiful soul. I will not shout out your name unless you want me to put you on this show. But if you're watching and you want to join Lindsay, you are welcome. Oh, I just did. Ah, see, that's the universe saying, come join us and play on our show, Linz. Yeah, the reality is I have been able to cultivate a deep knowing by just listening to my intuition. And sometimes I feel steered off course by listening to my intuition. And what I mean by that, Yanko, is I don't get the result that I assumed I needed to have, but then I'm reminded that it is always the result that needed to happen, even if it doesn't look or feel or, show up the way I think it needs to be.
We're so in sync. I was just thinking about it because I had something similar about an event that I went to, and people were bashing the event, or they were saying that, thank you. um, and people that I know try to sway me into not going, saying things like, "Oh, why are you gonna go there?" They'll tell you to listen to yourself, and when you ask questions and they don't answer and they're rude to people and all these other things. And I went to just kind of enjoy it, kind of like going to a movie, no expectation. Am I gonna like it? Am I not gonna like it? Anything. And it was just then that it clicked that what was going on. The person was talking about having people connect with their inner wisdom, like what you're talking about. But the mind was like, no, I want the answer. Like, I want the pill. You give me a quick fix. That's why I'm paying you money. I want to be here. I'm asking you a question. Why aren't you answering me? You know what I mean? And I was like, now I get it. Why those people were like that? Why they were saying, oh, don't go. It's waste of money. They were probably having the expectation that somebody else will solve their problems, or tell them an advice and tell them, hey, go this way, have a go that direction or whatever.
Well,
So
it's interesting you say that because I'm in a very unique place, and it's funny because I asked Deepak Chopra this yesterday on the call. I was like, I'm in a place of being. I feel no need to have an outcome. There's no expectation. And I've really come to that place. Now, once in a while, ego kicks in, guys. So do not get it twisted. I've not transcended ego completely. So sometimes I get caught up in my head. However, quite often now when I engage with individuals, whether I'm coaching them or whatever, I have no expectation of an outcome. I have no, like, I'm watching Lindsay. I'm gonna email you the link and you can join us if you want to jump on.
yeah,
So,
jump on.
but I have no expectation of what the other person receives from me. You know what I mean?
Morning,
I
Bonnie.
just show up in presence, and showing up in presence is the gift that we get to the individual because we're just present. And like earlier today I was having a conversation and I was able to use a really deep metaphor with a football analogy, because that's what was called for me to say to the individual I was talking about, for them to get whatever message I was called to share for them, that they obviously was meant to have because they were part of the conversation. So hang on, I'm gonna you talk while I email my girlfriend right now, real quick.
Okay, go for it. um and to on what you were saying is that sometimes depends on the level of consciousness of the person you're communicating with, because a lot of some people are deeply unconscious but they think they're conscious because they're just running an autopilot in a lot of the things they do in life. They think they're choosing consciously, but it's pushed on based on their experiences or something else that happened along the way. So what I kind of realized the other day was that sometimes you're in flow and you don't jump or use anything. You're just being your authentic self. And then people that are looking for that authentic self also resonate with you, because there's people that are in the level of awareness above, autopilot, and they're not happy with, a nonsense conversation. And by meaning nonsense conversation, I mean conversation when people tell you the same story. It's all the same thing over and over all the time, and so it's kind of a way of like how you being yourself. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. I'm enjoying listening to your conversation. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
We'd love for you
thanks for
to join.
jumping up.
before I
Yeah, of
before
course.
we jump in and have a convo with you, I just want to shout out Rob on LinkedIn. And I love you so much, and thanks for joining. Rob is an exceptional show when you're ready, just saying. But anyway, hi, Lynn. Rocking your 80s fabulous fit as always. I'm with it. You know what's so
It's a
funny?
cozy day,
Total side note, yesterday night Nana and I were going through cosplays because he's going away this weekend, and I was trying to convince him to do Rainbow Bright, and it wasn't his vibe. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna pull up in a con one day, guys, dressed as Rainbow Bright or She-Ra. I haven't decided which.
I will be there for that.
Just
I'm a
because I
Rainbow
need
Bright
to
fan.
see it happen. But anyway, maybe it'll be a time when I can get Yanko to come join us on the East Coast and come be shenanigans with us.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not into cosplay, but if everyone's doing it and we're on flow, who knows?
What do you mean? You don't want to
I
dress up
might.
as One Punch Man with your package showing up like Alexander?
I don't even know what One Punch Man is.
Me
Like
neither.
I'm not really like I watched some of the like I watched things like Family Guy or I don't know, Futurama. It's my latest one. They came up with a bunch of new episodes and things.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know everything about it, every superhero and all the things. So I don't know if I come across a character that I want to be, maybe that'll happen.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've heard that K-pop Demon Hunters is a good analogy for enlightenment and showing your full self. And I haven't seen it, but I don't know. Maybe that's on the horizon.
Now that you mention it, I think I've seen it. Was it an Amazon? I think it was an Amazon Prime or something.
I think Netflix. I haven't.
Or was it a Netflix? I might be wrong. It sounds very familiar. I might have seen it, but I can't recall.
Yeah. But, it's interesting because yesterday, Nana and I had the Bright Side Chronicles and we had this individual on and we were talking about the messaging that is pretty much fluid throughout a lot of anime, which is, I mean, they talk about chakras and energy. Makes sense because it's comes from, Eastern countries and stuff where they tend to be a little bit more connected to flow and chi and energy. So there is an undercurrent, and I think this is true with all shows, of growth and expansion and obviously that light versus dark and that push pull. So we can find that narrative running through whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love to tune into that in music too. Kerri, you'll appreciate this. I was thinking about something and then a song popped up and it was right on that track, and it was a Trevor Hall song that was Release What You've Been Carrying, and I've been having some back pain, like really pulled a back muscle, and I asked myself, what is this here to teach me? And then this song came on and I was like, thank you.
See, when you pay attention, things like that happen. You know? Sorry, go ahead, Kerri.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, now that I'm more in the present, in what I mean in the present being that if I drive the car, I'm not thinking of something, I'm not checked out. I might listen to a song and really hear the lyrics and things speak to you. Like, even this morning, I'm laying in bed and I'm hearing crows outside, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting. I haven't heard a crow, like that in a while. So it's different. You never know what are you going to hear, but more and more I hear things that are connected to spirituality, people changing, helping each other, living in love and bliss and all that kind of stuff, which is amazing. I'm really happy about that. Just seeing it change. So
yeah,
I don't know if the universe reflects back and gives me what I want to see. I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, I 100% believe it does. That's been my experience thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's interesting because there's two things there's a lot of things I say to myself in the morning when I wake up. But one is, above all else, I wish to see vision costs nothing and blesses everybody. And it is seeing with spiritual sight, not vision, because so often we get caught up in this and lose sight of the gift that is behind the lyric or the connection in the sauna or the conversation that was spontaneous with Lindsay or whatever the case is, or the insight that I gained talking with Nana yesterday about marketing, right? It's not looking at things from that like lens of human construct understanding, but more listening to the undercurrent of insight that it provides. And there isn't an expectation of just openness. It's like curiosity. There's no ego involved, but I do want to go back to what started this conversation, which is intuition, Lens, because you're on the call, and you and I had a conversation earlier this week about intuition, and how, for the listening audience, Lindsay is my soul sister. She's my BFF, but it's not that traditional relationship. And I had this conversation with Ellen too, around my cousin passing, and how you and I were connected, but not in a way that like most people know connections. And the reality is we're connected through energy, not necessarily physical connection always. And I think that comes with being tapped into your intuition. So how is it you cultivate your intuition, and what do you do when you question your intuition?
Mm-hmm. Is that a question for me?
Yeah, that's a question too.
It's so interesting, Kerri, because like so many times I'll be like doing something, or out in the world, and I'll see something that reminds me of you, and I think of like, not what would Kerri do, but I just hear, like you said, we're connected on an energetic level. Like I hear your like guidance in a way, but it's not like a hierarchical guidance. It's like I kind of tune into your energy on that, and that's different than my intuition, right? But I see things that remind me of you, and it just helps. It brings a smile to my face. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I gotta share this with Kerri, or this reminds me of something we were talking about, or oh, Kerri would say this, and it helps me kind of stretch beyond my own self-limiting beliefs. But in terms of cultivating my intuition, it's like getting quiet, meditating, journaling. The more I can listen to my own voice, and I slight tangent, but not really. I love like those, I get them all the time. Maybe you guys do too in your social media, like course for this, course for that, PDF for this, learn how to do that. And at some point I had to be like, shut it all down. But I get that one little like thing where I'm like, oh, but I do want to know about that. But the more I like do those things and fragment my energy, the less I'm listening to my own intuition and developing that muscle. Just like this just popped into my head, but like working out, if you just do a bunch of little like random things, you're not going to tone any specific muscle with like continued progress, versus like a goal, setting that time aside, working on that. I think about the subconscious too, Yanko, like creating subconscious change when you focus on one specific intention and you listen to hypnosis about that change you wish to see, and maybe even like subliminal audio, or do tapping, or journal on that one thing, then you'll see progress there. But I have to consciously do that to tune into my intuition, because I'm like a squirrel sometimes, like, oh, that looks like fun, oh, I want to work on that, and there's just so much. So
I know that happens to a lot of people, and that's a side effect or benefit of meditating or just going within and observing. I just talked to somebody 2 days ago, I think, or a couple of days ago. We have this local event called Vibe Share. I forgot what was the third thing, but anyway, they were like, "Oh, my mind is going crazy in 100 miles and this and that." And I said, "Well, if you're meditating, you're the observer in you. It's watching the thoughts, because you're not the thoughts. So the more you have time with yourself and you observe those things, you see what really matters, where you want to put your energy, so you're not wasting your time and energy in useless pursuits, and just like, oh, just because this is shining, or this is because it's like packaged in certain way on the internet or whatever, I have to jump after it, because it kind of like distracting thoughts. You're clearing the fog, and you're just like, okay, this is where I go, this is where I want to go, and this is where I'm going. So
yeah,
yeah.
you know and that's the thing is, I'm going to be really, really clear. Like, I struggled for a long time because I've always been an outlier in that I've always done things my way. And when I really started getting quiet, one of the challenges I had was, am I coming from ego? Do I think I know more than all these people that I don't need to? Like, I'm assuming that I don't need their information. And what I've come to realize for myself kind of going back to the lyrics and spiritual sight, is the information I need to gain deeper awareness will come to me. I don't have to seek it or go to a course or whatever. For example, right? I just happened to get in my email that Deepak Chopra was doing a live yesterday. That felt right for me. I ended up getting a client, and then so I ended up needing to, well, I chose to show up for this individual, and I said, all right, well, if I'm meant to gain support, I will, and if not, and then I just happened to catch it just at the end where there was Q&A, and I put in what it was I need, was on my heart, and I got a response. And that's really been the work that I've had to continue to play with, is getting still and being okay with trusting myself and not questioning whether it's coming from ego, because that's the trickery of the mind. That's like the belief that I need to be, I don't know, listening to other people. I will be guided with what I need to know in any given moment, as long as I stay in listening to myself. Like, as long as I'm so, and again, this goes back to intention setting for the listening audience, right? I'm very, very clear about what it is I want to experience every day. My clarity comes from staying in love, open to all things that come up for me, and experiencing joy. So if everything that I experience keeps me in love and curiosity and enjoy, well, then it's going to serve me, and I don't need to go down a rabbit hole of learning this course or that course or this course, because it will come to me as I just remain open to it.
I was gonna say something about the whole thing because I'm noticing it more, that if you don't put your attention to something or concentrate, if you pick up different things, the universe will provide. You'll get, little hits here and there. Say videography or something else you might be interested in, that might be like, here, you're looking for this, I'll support you, here's more materials, or whatever way you want to go. um, but this I also find as a distraction, because that also takes you kind of away from your goal. If you
Mhm.
have a set goal, like this is where I'm going, and everything else is just like, it's in the way, like going through some kind of city and there are stores and left and right and you see it, but you don't jump on every store to check what's going on along the way. You're just kind of going, and something picks up your interest. You're like, is it worth it? Because the universe will support you. It'll give you chances to explore any opportunity you want for anything. It's not just one thing. So that's why I'm realizing more and more, and that allows me to get more clarity on things that actually bring me joy, or if that's the thing I want to pursue or go for. So
It's interesting you say that, Yanko, because as of late, I have not posted, I updated my podcast. I haven't updated the descriptions and stuff. And I have told both of you quite clearly, and most people know, tech does not bring me joy. In fact, like it is the opposite. I want to vomit in my mouth. And it's not that I can't do it. And this is what I really want to encourage the listening audience to understand. I'm perfectly capable of doing these things. I have taught myself in corporate America that I can write a SOP, I can do this. I just don't like it. It's not fun for me. It does not meet my intention of experiencing joy. And so as of late, I'm like, fuck it. Like, I ain't doing none of it. And, I hear people, well, how are you going to build your clientele, or how are you going to do this? You know what? I don't need to know that. My sole goal is to stay connected to source. And for me to stay connected to source, I have to be present in joy. Like, we are meant to grow and expand in joy. That's all I have to do. I can be sitting, twirling my fingers, doing a dance outside in nature and get a client. And the universe has proven that to me over and over and over again. So to your point, Yanko, what I'm very, very passionate about encouraging people to do is just get clear what feels yummy for you. What makes your body feel good? Where is there no contraction? And that's something that I really have come to understand is Ego is contraction. You're going to feel icky, sticky either in your thoughts or in your body. And it's probably both, but you're more inclined to, if you're a little bit aware, feel it in your body. If there's even the slightest bit of resistance, it's not bringing you joy. So shed it. Shed it. And I do that with clients. I mean, I shed 4 clients last month. I'm like, you know what? This does not feel good for me anymore. Cut the cord. And I know that that serves me, because as soon as I do that, guess what? The universe is like, hey, here's somebody that, feels more aligned to what it is you're looking for. And then you just lean into that, and you don't have to figure out the how or the why, or you just stay in that joy.
Mm-hmm. Because that emits a frequency that attracts more of what you want. And when you get into that sticky, negative, like resistance energy, I feel that too. And sometimes I actually get into that energy on things that I do want. I've been noticing in my energy when I'm getting ready for a launch that I've been really excited about. My energy starts to like dip because I get into this contraction place, and then ego takes over. Even if it started as something that's like soul centered, lights me up, I'm so excited about it. The process of getting to launch, my ego starts to try to control the outcome. And then my energy shifts. And then I start to like want to honestly ghost my own launch, like not interested anymore. But that's not from my intuition. It's from a place of ego, of like getting into fear, right? And it's a protective mechanism. So being aware of that, I can watch my energy and keep that consistent, excitement and high vibe throughout. And knowing that I go through those cycles helps me too show up for what I actually do want. That's important.
Well, I also think that the very awareness of that contraction dissipates the contraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
The awareness of
Yep.
what you're experiencing
Yep.
releases it. And that's why, and this goes back to where I am really passionate about working with people who struggle with addiction and mental health, is we go for the thing to not feel that contraction. And what we're doing is really repressing it. And all that's happening is you're going to have to work through more of that bullshit as time goes on. So rather than, going for the thing so you don't feel it, examine it, look at it, just sit with it. And it feels awful. I still have those moments. I was just telling somebody the other day at Nana, I was working to explain, my own experiences over the past couple weeks. And it feels, I mean, the sensations can feel overwhelmingly icky, but the release that comes with bearing witness to it and then transmuting it is overwhelmingly peaceful. So it's worth sitting in that experience, because then you don't have to do that dance again. Your time having done it enough times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the thing that a lot of people misunderstand is like the bypassing of, that toxic positivity of like, I don't want to feel this way, so I'm just going to skip ahead. But like you said, Kerri, it's sitting with it. It's like processing it, it's transmuting it. And that part isn't talked about enough, I think, because we just want to get to the feeling better. And that's where people use, numbing coping mechanisms, and addiction comes in too. But I think even in the culture of mindset, it's like, oh, just switch. And first you have to transmute an experience and release it and alchemize it. And then you can get to that other place. And like Yanko, with subconscious work, you can create a switch, but first you have to be aware of it and like allow it to come through before you can welcome in new thoughts, new patterns.
You have to have the experience. That's the bottom line. There's no escaping from it. In like anything in life, once you understand that we're in the world of polarities and you're here to experience the polarities. If you didn't want to experience the polarities, you were going to be high up somewhere in the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever dimension, sitting in joy bliss and not having to have this. But this is also experience that you get, because to get from point A to point B, the point is the journey. That's why we're also in time space and we perceive time linearly. You have to go through the journey to get to where you're going. In the journey, it's the important part, not hopping from point A to point B and, oh, I switch. And I see it happen a lot where people are like, oh, I don't want to be this way. I just want to be like, switch, be there and be done. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the point then? You're not going to have the journey. So, yeah, that's a good
But
point.
I also think that speaks to judgment, though, Yanko, which is where I really emphasize for people, if you do nothing else, give yourself permission to be curious. Because the minute you judge an experience, good or bad, right or wrong, up, down, left, right, you lose a lesson that you were meant to gain from it in the first place. And so often, I always think about the person I needed to forgive the most was always me. As soon as I forgave myself, everything else was super duper easy. But we have this mental narrative due to conditioning and habits and behaviors and societal expectations and unconscious programming that keeps us in this real struggle to give ourselves grace. And that's really what I encourage people most often to do is, yes, I hear the narrative, oh, work to forgive others. No, work to forgive yourself, work to allow yourself to have the human experience. If I pop off on my daughter because she's mouthy and I'm not grounded, I'm not judging myself for that. Oh, that's interesting. Am I tired? Am I cranky? Am I getting my period? Am I whatever? And even at that point, I don't even ask myself that anymore because it's trying to understand rather than just having the experience. But just being human and allowing yourself to have the human experience in all facets, whether it's anger, sadness, all of that is the gift of what it is we're here to have.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna, I was gonna say that I was just thinking of that before we started to talk about it, um, and I'm thinking that maybe that's a side effect of the training of always be out in concentrate in the world and the people outside that you forget that you exist, and this is all for you, and the world just reflects you back. So you're kind of chasing your own tail. You're going after the reflection, thinking that you're doing something, but you're going in circles.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's why we are all mirrors for each other. It's so beautiful. And again, I was telling you, Yanko, before you jumped on, Linz, like the mirror that Nana presented back to me yesterday was really profoundly insightful because I saw him through a completely different lens than I've ever seen him before. And I mean, this is my person, and just the gift that gave me was profound, and I can't even put it into words.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
Everything again, everything it's for you. And if you go back into um, thinking of consciousness, everything is consciousness energy. It's getting in the body, it's projecting, everything happens in your head, even the dreams and the outer states, everything. It's different awareness of like how expanded you are or how contracted you are and how separate you are from the whole creation. So there's no point of, I mean, if you want to have if you want to amaze yourself in, go after something shiny, whatever, you have that opportunity. But at the end of the day, you know that this is a projection of your, of consciousness, and everything, it's consciousness that moves around. There is ideas that once you realize that, you can then flip everything around, because just kind of like how you are in your dreams, if you're aware of how your dreams are, and you can consciously be in the dream and you can create the characters and do everything else, then that also happens here, and you start creating and do whatever you want because it's all consciousness. It's all on ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's malleable, right? Everything. You do not
Mhm.
have to be in dream state to flip the script. I really want to encourage people because I do have vivid dreams. In fact, I had a very insightful one this morning, but I am more inclined I'm highly self-aware, like highly self-aware of everything. So I can flip the script instantaneously. If I'm and I'll give the listening audience a real-time example. Okay, I live with my sister. I get caught in ego and I'm like, man, I wish I had my own kitchen. This is just like a real thing. Instead of focusing on at a real kitchen, I go into my consciousness in the kitchen and I visualize my 8 gas stove with the griddle, the blue countertops, the colors of the wall. I'm changing the external reality real time because I'm focused on, the experience I want to have rather than what I don't have or that I'm in now. So I really want people to understand you can train your brain to create your reality. The issue that I see with a lot of people is we want instant gratification. Well, I need to see the results right now. The
Yeah.
reality is one, you actually don't want that to happen. I'm gonna tell you why. Me and Yanko talk about this a lot. Yanko and I
This is why
manifest
I'm
really
laughing.
quickly. We
Yeah, go ahead.
manifest quickly because they're in a higher state of consciousness. So we be manifesting, and we're like, damn, I did not want to manifest that. And then we laugh at each other. We're like, ah. So you actually want that gap to really get clear about what it is you were looking to achieve and having it execute. And even if you look at great scripture, there are many, many parables where it took people a decade, 2 decades to cultivate the experiences they had envisioned. But it can't not happen. It's just that depending on what it is you're looking to achieve, one, you're navigating subconscious beliefs around whatever it is you're looking to achieve. So you got to flush that out because we've been taught to believe we're limited and we're not, we're limitless. And then two, clarity. A lot of people have no idea who they are, what they want, because again, we're conditioned by societal expectations, our parents, family expectations. So learning yourself to get clear on what it is you want and then staying grounded in what you being able to stay in that joy, and eventually it just will happen. So that's something I really encourage people to understand. You don't have to be in a dream state to flip your experience. It is a practice though, and it's an energy. And so I also encourage people, it can be tiring. I talk to a lot of individuals that I work with and they're like, I'm so exhausted. Yeah, because it's like running marathons. It's mental exercise that is just as depleting as if you were to put physical work. And so honoring that time to rest and recuperate and not be so hard on yourself, that will help you start to change the experience internally, which will then produce the external results you seek.
I wanted to go
Yeah.
back to the visualization of that you were doing in the kitchen, Kerri, for a moment to help people like connect the dots, because I think there's with a lot of like manifesting and vision boards and stuff, I've been, when people get into the energy of I want that, I don't have that, I want that, that's a lower vibrational state, and it actually then you exist in that space
Yep.
of not having. So when you visualized your kitchen, what was the energetic state you were in? Was it joy? Was it like, how did you differentiate that from being in a space of, I want this, I don't have it, to the space that actually calls it in to create that new reality for yourself?
That's a really beautiful question. And I appreciate you highlighting that because it's an important space. One, gratitude opens you up to limitlessness. Gratitude is being thankful for what you have, always. So being appreciative. And I am always grateful for the ability to cook a meal on the stove and stuff. But also, I exist in the future as well. So it's not as if I am seeking to want it, I'm already there. And that's again, that's hard because people, you got to understand astral projecting. It's not that I'm seeking to want something. I'm already in that experience. I already have it, or already exists for me. But
Mhm.
that's cultivating a strong sense of understanding that there really isn't a time and space and we operate in different dimensions. But it is a great question. But for the person who is maybe just starting out this work and looking for manifestation, and or we always manifest, guys, by the way, always. Everything we have in every experience is a manifestation of our internal narratives. But if you're looking to change what it is you externally experience, start with gratitude, because gratitude is abundance. Gratitude is an abundant energy. It's a positive energy, and it's a limitless, because if you're grateful for what you have, you're operating in a space where you can receive more of what you're grateful for. So thank you for that
Yeah.
question. That was very beautiful.
Anytime.
The reason I mentioned it wasn't to tell people that they have to be in the state, but more or less to give them a comparison that things are real in your dream state. Even your body reacts because everything happens in the consciousness. If you're having a nightmare, when you wake up, the body, it's going to react because it's not going to know.
Mhm.
And therefore we even have a protection that the system turns off, otherwise you can act your dreams off when you're sleeping, and break your leg or something else when it's happening, because the body doesn't find the difference between what's in the mind imagined or what's actually real. And if you do any kind of exercises or visualization, or think of something, the body will react like it's actually there, if you imagine a fruit or something else. So that's why I was going with that. Not that it's required to do. Once you start understanding all those things, you don't even have to do it. You don't even have to close your eyes. Or I've seen more and more people ask me about, oh, well, how do you get in a trance state, or you have to be like a really good meditator, or you have to do this and that. I'm like, nope. It's all like muscle memory. The more you do it, you don't even have to close your eyes. You're just sitting there, eyes open, and you can be in outer state, seeing something in your mind eye, and manifesting it, doing whatever you want to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to clear up that part, why I brought it up.
Because our body already knows how to go into trance. Our mind already knows. Like we do
Yep.
it multiple times a day, whether we're driving or doing some routine task. So it already knows. We just, like, our ego doesn't think we know how to do it.
Right.
Well, that is the ego in a sense. It's convincing you that you're not present. And we are like just being here, we're present. And that is the mind fuckery of the ego. And I love the analogy. I forget where I got it from, but it's the ego is the thief pretending to be the cop to catch the thief. Like you are never, ever,
Mm.
ever going to think your way out of ego. Instead, come back to presence. Come back
Yep.
to, oh,
Yep.
how's my body feel right now? What's this coffee cup feel like? It's soft. As soon as you do that, you're out of ego. That's all you have to do. And then you're in a state of presence and flow, and that's why I always encourage people. You will drive yourself into absolute insanity when you try to figure things out, try to fix yourself, try to heal yourself. All of that will naturally cease as you just sit in the presence of utter awareness.
That's it. You don't have to do a damn thing. But we're used to doing things. We're in the doing mode. You got to do this to get this result because that's how you condition. It's kind of weird that, oh, maybe like I got to go to work to be successful, or abundance and this and that, and do different things. It's like, no, all you got to do is just
Yeah. But it is
the,
so,
yeah.
see, it is a practice, right? In the society that we've grown up in, you know, and I would venture to say since the creation of humanity, it's been a practice to cultivate that just being and not doing. And again, I can only speak from my experience, but I will tell you that I really struggled with the two, um the polarity of it, the doing rather than the being, and the narrative that came with this idea that I need to be doing, I need to be doing. And for me specifically, the guilt and shame that came up with that, because in doing, I contradict everything that we're taught about achievement, about success, about uh carrying our weight within the family dynamic and stuff. So it really took a lot of coming back to presence, like coming back to just stillness, to this moment, to be able to understand that even that guilt, even that shame, even that fear is all just illusion, that I'm not tied to that experience unless I let my mind go down that rabbit hole, which is never going to be supportive to my intentions, which is to be presence, love, and joy.
Mm-hmm. Mic drop.
I got something else to add. I think in claiming the doing, we're becoming the doer, which we're not in the first place, because a lot of the times are just happenings or reaction to our environment or everything else that's around. But we have or the ego has a really good way of claiming it and says, I did this, or this happened because of me, or this
Mm-hmm.
happened because of this other person. It's not my fault, he did it. And it's you either the ego associates with something that makes it look nice, or dissociates it with something that might make it look bad. In And I'll give an example with like teams and colleges. They did an experiment where they were asking them, and every time the school team will the college team will win, they'll be like, we won. The fans, they'll associate with the team. And then if they lose, they go like, oh, they lost. We didn't. They did it, but we're in the same school. So a lot of the times when things are happening, if you're just present, you're not making them happen. They're just happening because you're in the happening. You're not outside the world, you're in the world. So it's a happening that's you're just observing it. And then for a second the ego might get ahead and control the situation and say, I'm going to do this or that. But at the end of the day, even if it doesn't do anything, the thing still is going to happen, or different outcome will happen. So there's no control of the happening. That's just an illusion,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And that's my observation. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it always goes back to the fact that you and I, Yanko, always say we don't know shit. Like, the more aware you become, the more it's just a good old party in this moment, and then in the next moment, and in the next moment,
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
but for the sake of the listening audience who that may feel really, really obscure, hang on real quick. Elohim, hi, we are amazing. Thank you for joining the show. We very much appreciate it. I trust you are exceptionally well as well. But for the sake of the listening audience, I do want to bring it back home to make it a little bit more palatable, more, tangible and concrete for people who may feel really hard. But what might you two suggest? What's one tool or trick or behavior or habit or practice that you've been able to cultivate within your own journey that has allowed you to lean more deeply into your intuition, more into your knowing, rather than seeking that external? Because I do believe that that is a profound and important piece to becoming aware?
Hmm. For me, mostly just kind of feeling it. It's a feeling for me. I'm more of a kinesthetic kind of a person because
Mhm.
there's different type of people. We're all different. There's people that might be more visual. There's people that might be, you know, auditory, hearing, doing different things. I just kind of feel it, and it's that feeling that's like, yeah, like it gives me the feeling of like that's the right thing to do, or that's what it's supposed to happen. um and sometimes it could feel differently. I might be in a place where it could feel like I need to be there and I know I'm there, but then the next thing it's like, well, what am I feeling? Am I supposed to do something here? Like leaning in more and more in the intuition. And sometimes I'm there and I don't know what's happening, but I know I have to do something. So sometimes I just ask and I say, why am I here? Like, what are we doing? Let's get to the chase. So,
But no, did you always trust your intuitive feeling?
oh no, no.
But so how did you cultivate that
Before,
trust?
before I started, I think I listened to somebody that was talking about like finding where you are in the body, because I come from an analytical background, and I'm more in the head. I'm more thinking, analyzing. So the first time I did that exercise, I closed my eyes and I wanted to see where I feel in the body. Where am I in the body? And I felt like I'm in the head.
Mhm.
But now lately, when I do it more, I feel like I'm down here around this area. Not as much here, but more here. Um, and that's kind of like what changed it. So if I'm not sure, if there is like a question and I want to see, is this coming from my mind? Where am I right now? Oh, I feel like I'm in. All right, so now I know this is most likely to be a mind kind of thing. So yeah.
I love that. What about you, Lens?
Well, as you were talking, I also am a kinesthetic person. Like I experience the world through feelings, lots of feelings.
Hmm.
Um,
Girl.
always knew that. Even my teachers. I had an English teacher in seventh and eighth grade, and he said to me, I love this about you. Your emotions are always like right here. And I was like, I wish they weren't at the time. 12 and 13, I didn't want to be like bursting into tears in class, but like my emotions have always been really under the surface. And now I learned to tune into the feelings in my body, like you were describing. I When I hear someone speak what I perceive to be like a deep truth, an authentic truth, or when I speak an authentic truth, I actually feel like tingling all over my body. And that's my body responding to that intuitive nudge of like, this is real, this matters. So it's like the emotions, it's the body. And then Kerri, you were asking like, how did you develop that trust with your intuition? It's hearing it, but also taking action aligned with it and then seeing the results of that action. It's sort of like any trust that you develop with a relationship with another person. It's like when they continue to show up and you continue to nurture that relationship, you develop trust over time. I'm naturally like a pretty trusting person, so so it helps.
Well, it's so interesting because I talk to a lot of individuals, especially because I work with a lot of unconscious individuals who say they don't trust anybody. And I'm like, really? Because I trust myself. I trust myself. So I trust myself more than I trust anybody. And in doing that, I trust everybody else. I trust everybody to present to me their understanding of what they know to be true for them based on their level of consciousness. So I do trust everybody, but I also trust myself. But going back to the question, I am like both of you. Like I feel it deeply, but when I sit because lately, as of late, I've been in a space of just unknown. Like it's just there's nothing. There's like it's I just sit in that space of unknown and know that I'm supposed to just be in that space. And it's just a practice. Again, it's giving yourself permission to be in this uncomfortable space that it can feel uncomfortable, right? Because we're so used to being conditioned to have a clear path forward, or have this roadmap or whatever. No, you don't. You can just be in this space and just, again, for me, it's leaning into the things that bring me joy in any moment, because that will allow me to then gain whatever insight that I require to make an intuitive choice, whether it's to do nothing or to, kind of like Yanko, take an action wherever I'm at in that moment. So,
Mhm.
Lynn, we're 2 minutes past, but this has been such a gift to my heart and
Thank you both for
soul. It's
having
really
me.
to
Yeah,
get it
thanks for stopping
together.
by again. It's been a long time, and I'm actually glad that you did, because we had such a wonderful conversation the first time around. So I'm glad you decided to join us for no particular reason.
Yay! It just so happened I opened my phone to Instagram. I saw Kerri was live, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this show, oh yeah!" And then you were talking about me, and I'm like, "Oh, it's meant to be." So,
There,
thank
there
you.
you go. There you go. There you
You are both
go.
amazing. Thank you
You
so
are
much for having me on.
too, and for the
No, we
listening
love
audience,
you.
we'll check you next week for episode 86 of For No Particular Reason, where we may talk about anything and nothing and everything in between.
That's right. And you probably know that because you've been watching our show for so long. Anywhere.
Anywhere.